Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast. Thank you again for tuning in. This is episode 42 already, which I can't believe that many small businesses have come in and sat down with me, and I'm just loving having everyone on here and getting to know more local businesses and really building up our community. So thank you so much for listening and for tuning in for all of these episodes as well. I am here today with Danielle Olbrantz. She is the founder of First Responders Mortgage and my husband, Jeff Ehlers, who is helping her out with this exciting new venture. I cannot wait for you to hear more about it. So with that, welcome Danielle and Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, coming in.
Yeah.
It's so fun to have you here, especially you, because you're here not in like a professional way all the time.
Right.
So it's really fun. I'm excited to hear what you guys are working on. So Danielle, can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind starting First Responders Mortgage and what sets it apart from other mortgage companies?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been in the mortgage industry basically my entire life.
Right.
Started right at 18. Owned my first brokerage when I was 24.
That's
like
amazing.
This is my career. I've done it for a very long time. My husband and I joined forces a few years ago. We've had a successful brokerage. It's been fun. Rode through the insanity of COVID and 2% interest rates, and that was great. But it got to the point where I wanted to do something that had a little bit more fulfillment to it.
Yep.
And so this last year, we sat down and we thought, well, how can we really identify ways that can do what we love doing, do what we're good at doing, but do it in a way that has a little bit more contribution to the world. And so we started identifying what our ideal client is.
Right.
We've always participated in Homes for Heroes, which is a discount program for military and, teachers, doctors, all of that. But I wanted to take it a little bit further. So I created a new brokerage on my own. I joke with my husband that I broke up with him. I'm like, we're separate now. So he's still got his, yes, exactly. I'm like, you're fired. Sorry. So I've got my brokerage. Yeah. It's all mine.
That's awesome.
We set it up just with the goal and mission to be incredibly competitive.
Great.
On interest rates.
Great.
We've waived fees.
Great.
We've really tried to dial it in. Truthfully, it's a terrible business model. I couldn't survive if this were our only business, but it isn't. And so, we said it's fulfilling. Yeah, I wanted to do something that just gives back and gives me a sense of contribution.
That's so awesome. Who are you helping specifically with First Responders Mortgage?
So we have, fire, police, medical, and military are our main clientele.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And congratulations on starting this.
Thank you.
It's really exciting.
It's been really fun.
Yeah, that's
really
amazing. Fun. Amazing. So Jeff, can you tell us, I know you're helping Danielle out a little bit. Can you tell us more about your military background?
Yeah. So I actually started kind of late. I was almost at the max age when I joined the Marines. It's just kind of 2009. Work kind of slowed. So something I always wanted to do, even after high school, but I didn't because just my high school sweetheart and stuff like that, and now look, right? So,
yeah.
So after the economy kind of slowed down, I was like, well, I think it's a perfect chance to do it. So, I went in at 27, 28 is the cutoff, and
just made it.
Yeah, I was older than my drill instructors and stuff. Everybody was like 18 to like 24. Wow. Really, was like the max age.
Harder. Once they're a little bit more adult.
I agree.
Right. Yeah. Actually, it was almost a little easier because I already lived on my own. Right. I owned my own place and worked out and all that before that. So that kind of made it easier instead of coming straight out of mom's house, in high school and not a lot of life experience. It was a little tougher for them. But made it through boot camp and all the training, and then did 4 years in the Marines, had one deployment. Basically, I was on a Navy ship, just traveled around the world. Just kind of like a quick reaction force wherever needed. But a lot of my buddies went to Afghanistan. That's why I joined. I kind of wanted to experience combat and war and go out. Don't know why. Some people think I'm crazy. Some people get it, So, But yeah, and then I wanted to stay in, but it was rough on the family. I didn't want to keep moving and stuff like that. So I actually wanted to be a drill instructor and all that. But so I didn't. I got out, but I wanted to continue service and also till I figured out what I was going to do next. Have benefits, so I joined the reserves. I was a combat engineer in the Marines, which is basically like you deal with explosives, and you also do a little bit of construction and stuff like that. But so I wanted to stay combat engineer, but in the Marine Reserves, they didn't have any combat engineers close by.
Right.
So I think the nearest one was Oregon, and so somehow I found out the National Guard had a sapper unit, which is combat engineers, but it's actually, you can get like a tab, in the Army they have tabs like Special Forces, Rangers, sappers. So I was like, oh, cool, maybe, I go to sapper school and it's meant to be. And it was in my hometown, Petaluma, the unit.
So cool.
But when I went to get recruited, they said it's all filled up.
Yeah.
And then you go to this horizontal, which is basically heavy equipment. And I was like, I'm not sure. Oh, well, I'll get my foot in the door. Yeah, totally. And I do construction, so it'll build my resume up. And ended up liking it. It was a lot more laid back than what I'm used to, which is kind of a culture shock.
Right.
Just Army in general, but then National Guard's a little more laid back. But I ended up liking it. And then I actually deployed to Syria in 2017. We were attached with Special Forces and actually got a little small taste of combat. And then when I got back, I was close to 10 years, and I was like, well, I might as well ride it out. Retire,
That's how I felt about mortgages. Totally. Slightly different, but same thing.
You're so invested already, right?
Keep going.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome, which I already knew all that, but it's so fun for the listeners.
I didn't.
Right.
See, I appreciate it. I appreciate it
and
thank you for your service, and thank your son, too, for his service, and we can talk about that a little bit more as well.
Definitely.
So what specific services, Danielle, does First Responders Mortgage offer to military personnel, firefighters, police officers, and medical EMT professionals?
Yep. So we are a full-service mortgage brokerage, licensed in California only. So I don't currently have any plans to go outside of California, but you never know what the future holds.
Right.
But a full-service mortgage brokerage, so we can help with buying, refinancing, home equity lines, all of it.
Fantastic.
What I have found is that a lot of the companies that are geared towards specific communities, first responder communities, tend to be more of like larger call center type companies.
That's a good point.
Where you may not get the individual expertise that I think I bring to the table. I've been doing this for a very long time. I've closed thousands and thousands of loans. So I have a lot of experience to really be creative in getting things done that I think some of those bigger companies can't offer.
That's a really good point.
On top of our rates are better. But.
Right. Well, and I think that does bring up, because I haven't worked with you with First Responders Mortgage yet because it's brand new. But I've worked with you in the past, and there is that level of connection that you have with your clients that's so key, where you're not going to get that from an 800 number.
No.
And
I can promise that.
I
can 100% promise
for
that.
sure.
I mean, when you look at the statistics, a lot of those call center loan officers, which is a great way to start in the business, but oftentimes they have, a year or less experience in the industry, and they just don't have the experience.
Right.
I mean, it's like real estate agents.
To get a hold of them. Exactly.
You need experience. It can't be your first deal.
Exactly.
And definitely harder to get a hold of them.
Definitely harder to get a hold of. I've had to work as like an agent on the other end, where I'm like, what do you mean you have business hours?
You wanted to buy a house.
We're writing an offer right now.
We don't buy houses on the weekend.
Totally. Exactly. Nobody buys a house on the weekend. So it's really nice to have you offering that level of service, as well as all of the offerings that you have in terms of helping this community out.
Yeah. So. I mean, it really, truly was born out of a desire to just find a way to contribute. Yep. I've had a very successful 25-year career in the mortgage industry. Yeah. It's time to I probably have another 10 years in the industry, and I want to do something that I feel really great about at the end of the day. Not that I don't love being a broker in a normal way.
Of course, yeah.
But I want to do something that I can sign off on and say, I helped a whole lot of people. I helped a whole lot of people who really deserve it.
Yeah.
My son did join the Marines about a year ago, and I got to see firsthand the sacrifices that go into not just them, but their entire families. It's obviously a huge adjustment, and it's not like they are often well compensated financially
Right,
for that
right.
service. And
Mhm.
so if we can give in other ways
Yep.
to let them buy houses,
Yep.
and, you know.
Help them get their
I'm
foot in
all
the
in.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's beautiful. Jeff, as a veteran yourself, how did you become involved with First Responders Mortgage, and what is motivating you to assist your clients?
Well, how I first became, I don't know, I'm drawing a blank. Introduced, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Adjectives are not my strong. That's even an adjective. I don't know. But, yeah, I think Paul originally reached out to Amy,
Yeah.
and because she knew,
Yeah.
or he knew that I was a veteran,
Yeah.
and just trying to get in with the community,
Right.
get started, and who better than a veteran himself,
Right.
and just to see how I can push out like the First Responders Mortgage.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wait,
brokerage.
It's one of the challenges of being a new
Mhm.
brokerage.
Yes.
And, these other big telemarketing companies, they have
Right.
huge budgets,
Budgets.
right? They have TV ads and radio ads
Yeah.
and billboards and
Yeah.
stadiums and all the things. And all of those things cost
Mhm.
money,
Yep.
which ultimately get pushed into the
Yeah.
interest rates that they offer.
Right.
I set up this company
Right.
very intentionally
Mhm.
lowering our profit margins significantly.
Yep.
And so you
Gotta be
need
careful with that.
people
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
ground to
Mhm.
be able to put the word
Yeah.
out. And so that's kind of our first mission
I love that.
is get connected with, people who are
Mhm.
in these communities who can
Yeah.
help share what we have to offer.
Literally boots on the ground.
Yeah, boots on the
Right.
ground.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, you're
especially-
so connected because
I
you've
need
got
to use that
Marines,
in
right?
this
You
summer.
like
I'm
that? We're
going
gonna
to
put that in
find
the
that.
marketing,
Yes, that's
right? So because you're so connected with everyone when you served with the Marines and then now still in the reserves.
And also
we work a lot with fire.
Right. So
Yeah.
with the National Guard, we respond to a lot of state emergencies. I've
Yeah.
responded to a handful myself, and work with a lot of firefighters, just first responders in general, and a lot of volunteer ones, and all different facets of the
Right.
government responding to emergencies, FEMA, and
Right.
all that. So I got a big pool that I could pass this out, and I'm really excited to, because there's a lot of organizations that just use the veteran
Yes.
Yeah.
as a
Yes.
to grab you, and you think, oh, they're helping veterans, so
Yeah.
you think they're actually helping you, which in return, if you look a little deeper, they're actually not. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
since I know, talking to Danielle, knowing the ins and outs, she's doing this legitly to
Yeah.
help veterans and first responders. I mean,
For sure.
her son's in the Marines, and
Mhm.
Yeah. I got another
About
one
to have
about to
another
join
one.
the Army.
Another one about
Army
to
boys are
yeah.
just trying to stress them out. But
You're never gonna sleep again.
yeah, I know already. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no.
fun though,
Yeah.
it kind of naturally unfolded
Yeah.
into a second channel
Yes.
of contribution, right?
Yes.
So not only do we have this mortgage company
Mhm.
where we can offer great products and services at great
Mhm.
rates, but now we're also, forming these relationships with people in the industry
Right.
that gives them an opportunity
Right.
to, further their business
That's a
opportunities
great
too,
point.
right?
Mhm. I love it. That's so beautiful.
It's kind of just naturally unfolded.
Yeah. It really
Right.
has. Like just kind of put it
Yeah.
out there. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's fun.
Amazing. So Danielle, how does First Responders Mortgage cater to the unique needs and challenges of first responders when it comes to securing a mortgage?
So, obviously, a lot of experience in the mortgage
Mhm.
industry helps, right?
Yeah.
There, we offer all types of mortgage products, so we have everything under the
Mhm.
sun. But there is a degree of experience that is
Yeah.
especially helpful.
Mhm.
I'll talk about military probably last, but police, fire, their pay is complicated,
Mhm.
things like that,
Yes, good
and you
point.
need somebody with a little bit of
Mhm.
experience to
Mhm.
understand,
Yeah.
how to structure those types of loans. Also, just the availability that we talked about
Yes.
before, right? Often
Yes.
business hours aren't necessarily ideal for some of those types of
Great point.
careers.
Mhm.
And so we're available all the time, ready and able to help.
I love
And then
that.
for military,
Mhm.
obviously I do have a strong passion for helping veterans.
Mhm.
And the VA loan is a very underutilized loan program
Yes.
that has incredible benefits. And part of my mission is just sharing with
Right.
other real estate agents
Yeah.
who may have a fear of VA
Yes.
loans. There seems to be like a preconceived negative connotation sometimes with VA loans that I think needs to be undone.
I love that.
VA loans are actually much easier to close than
Right.
almost any other type of
Right.
loan. So it's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me
Gotta
that
get
they have
message
such a
out there.
bad
Right.
Yeah.
reputation
Yes.
sometimes. So
Yes.
that's another mission is just,
Interesting.
you need to work with a loan company. Unfortunately, some of that translates down to mortgage companies too.
Right.
A lot of loan
Right.
officers don't understand VA loans.
I agree. Yeah.
And so then they try to talk. I've
Mhm.
actually seen it happen where
Mhm.
clients get talked out of using their VA benefit
Wow.
and into using an FHA loan
Interesting.
because the loan officer just doesn't know
Doesn't
the
understand
details
it.
of how to get
Mhm.
that done. So
Interesting.
experience really is important
Yeah.
in this industry, and
Yeah.
especially with this category.
Right. Well, I'm thinking about the availability. Like I've had firefighter clients who are supposed to close in a week, and so their signing is scheduled and we're ready to go, and then they get called out to a fire. So
had that happen too.
I'm using all my connections to like get that notary out there to the
Yep.
firehouse so they can sign closing docs real quick, and then they're gone for a few weeks.
Absolutely.
You know. So I
Yeah.
think it's knowing those challenges is what you both are really good at,
Yeah.
and being able to anticipate them and plan for the worst because it could totally happen, or
Yeah.
hopefully nobody gets deployed, but that could happen as well. You know, and
Yeah.
so being able to think of the plan B if
Right.
that
I've
arises.
had veterans clients who have had to sign in Germany and,
Yes,
all the
exactly.
logistics that goes
Yep.
along with all of that and
Yep.
knowing what is required because
Mhm.
there are some extra steps that
Yep.
are required on a VA loan when
Yep.
they're,
Mhm.
currently deployed and things
For
like that.
sure.
And if a loan officer doesn't know to anticipate
Mhm.
that, it can really blow up a loan. at the end, so,
Exactly. So it takes that expert knowledge and
Yeah.
that firsthand experience for sure.
for
So
sure.
amazing. So what types of loans do you offer? So obviously VA.
Yep. Obviously
Mhm.
VA,
Yep.
FHA,
Mhm.
conventional, jumbo.
Same.
We have bank statement loans. We have
Right.
stated income loans. I also specialize in bridge loans. So that's
Awesome.
a unique product
Mhm.
that I offer that will be carried forward on the
Fantastic.
first
Okay.
responders company. Pretty much anything under the sun. If there is a loan for it, I can find it.
Fantastic. So pretty much
Yeah.
carrying the same from your other
Yeah.
brokerage, but now with working with this
Yeah, exactly.
exact clientele. So
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah.
Jeff, in your opinion, what are the key benefits or advantages of first responders mortgage and working with a company like this?
I mean, obviously the financial
Mm-hmm.
is huge. She's, like she said before, she's doing it the best rate possible that you can get. And I don't know if there's anything else out there
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Aware of.
And then you got the expertise, with myself knowing a lot of the VA stuff
Yeah.
and, to help out and the understanding of how difficult it is. And then Danielle,
Yeah.
obviously,
Right.
I'd learned something new right there, like
Mm-hmm.
with being talked out of the VA. I know
Yeah.
the VA loan has
Exactly.
kind of a
Crazy.
bad
So
stigma
Yeah.
crazy.
around
Yeah.
it because they think a lot of buyers don't want it with the
Mhm.
zero down and
Mhm.
they won't get accepted offers
Right.
Yeah.
and all
Right.
that. But I think having somebody with a lot of experience
Mhm.
in both, as far as mortgage
Right.
and with the veterans and first
For sure.
responders and all that.
The more we all
For
talk
sure.
about it,
Yeah.
that's how change happens, right?
Yep.
It's just continuing to press forward with positive experiences
Yeah.
of using these types of loans.
My brain's going on what we can do next to like push that message out.
I
Yeah.
know, I know. It's almost
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yes.
There's so much opportunity
Yes.
to help
Right.
and serve.
Agree.
But it's really exciting at
Yeah.
the same time.
That's amazing. And I
Yeah.
think that does bring up, a good point you were talking about. You don't have the same level of like marketing overhead that these
No.
big companies have. You don't have
Have
the
exactly
overhead
zero.
in general. Yes, exactly. So the
Right.
fact that you don't allows you to offer these very competitive
Yeah.
rates. You don't
Yeah.
have any
I mean,
built into it.
truly, it is a terrible business model
Right.
on its own. It
On paper, not good.
It's
In your
just
fulfillment
Right.
level.
to set up a company with this slim
Yeah.
of margins,
Yes.
but that's okay because that's
Yeah.
not the goal here.
Exactly. That's not
Yeah,
the goal here.
which is okay.
Exactly. I love that you pointed that out. It's
Yeah.
more to serve, it
It
sounds
is,
like.
yeah,
To
Right.
serve those who have served us.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is an earned benefit. I watched
Yeah.
my son through.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot. That's amazing.
Well
Amazing.
deserved. Well deserved.
So, for first responders who are considering home ownership, what advice would you give them when it comes to getting pre-approved for a mortgage?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people in general,
Mhm.
especially military members, don't know what is available to them. And
Yes.
so they feel like they have to find out everything first before they
Mm.
start.
Right.
I would encourage people to just explore their options. There is absolutely no cost to them
Right.
to get pre-approved.
Yep.
Like none.
Yep.
There are a lot of companies out there right now who are charging for credit reports
Wow.
and things like that. It's
Yeah.
become very popular lately because credit reporting
Right.
fees have increased.
Okay.
We don't do that. There's no cost to get pre-approved.
Great.
The best thing you can do is
Mhm.
find out where you stand. I mean, that applies to
Agreed.
everybody.
For everybody.
Like,
Mhm.
find out where you stand.
Yep.
Go through the process. It's
Yep.
going to take you 15 minutes worth of gathering a few things,
Yep.
and then you know what's possible.
Mhm.
And if it's not right now, I'm very honest with people that it's
Right.
not right now, and here are the steps that you need to do to get there.
Right. Which I love.
Always
It's all
better
about
to
the
know than
education.
to wonder.
Mhm.
For sure.
We
yeah.
were talking about
Or
that a little
mislead
bit
or-
before
Yeah.
recording. Yeah. And you had some experience with that when you were younger with not thinking that you were anywhere in a position to buy, and then you ended up buying a condo. Do you want to share that story?
Right. I mean, so yeah, I mean, that'd be one of my main messages to the people is just get out there.
Mhm.
Just like, even if you're not planning to buy a home soon, just,
Yeah.
reach out to Danielle and then, and myself, and then I can get you obviously to Danielle, but just see what you need, have
Right.
a goal to make it more obtainable. Because
Mhm.
when I was 21, I wasn't even planning on buying a condo or a house or anything, and went golfing with my old boss and linked up with two other gentlemen. One of them was a realtor.
That's
He's like, "You ever thought about buying a house?" I was like, "Not really." He's like, "Why
Good
not?"
job on that.
I
realtor.
know,
Props
I
to
know.
the realtor.
From
He's
his
like,
book.
"Why not?" I was like, "I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm 21. I'm thinking of where I'm going this weekend."
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. And then hooked me up with a mortgage broker.
Mhm.
And then my credit score was fine. And a couple months later, I bought a condo.
Yeah. Not
You
even
know?
thinking
So you
about
never
it.
know.
Yeah.
You know? You don't know. I didn't think I was in the right
Yeah.
Mhm.
situation or
Right.
anything.
First step,
Yes.
like
Right.
compounds
Yes.
over time.
Yep.
I have older teenage kids, and
Mhm.
that's my
Yes.
biggest push for them is
Yep.
like start young.
Yes.
Start
Right.
young. Start
Yes.
investing. Start
Yes.
buying.
It's a
Yeah.
huge conversation in our household.
know?
It's break that cycle
Yeah.
of not listening and
Yeah.
then wait until you're in your
Mhm.
30s or whatever it is to finally start
Yeah.
doing it right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm not
That
sad
happens.
about the second one joining the military, so they both get no
That's
down
benefit,
payments. I'm
yes.
like, all right,
You're
that's
like, all
2
right.
out of
Right.
4 that
Two
have
of
a
the
down
kids are
payment
good.
covered.
And college.
Yeah,
all that,
exactly.
right.
Well,
Totally.
one, he did college first.
First.
Oh.
Okay, so you're only.
I was on the hook for that one,
totally,
but
totally.
That's all right.
So
Yeah.
It's
funny.
just the order it happened
Yeah,
in.
Right.
So
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fun.
that's all
Well, I
it's
love-
supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure. I love that advice that you're both giving about just kind of taking that first step. It's about education. You may not even think you're ready, and maybe you're farther ahead than you are, or maybe you're wanting to, and you just need to figure out the steps to get you to
Yeah.
where you need to be. So,
Yeah.
How do you know
Great.
unless you
Yes.
try?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just
Mhm.
go through
Yep.
the process. See
Yep.
how it feels.
Yep.
I think some people may feel like they're in a bad spot,
Yeah.
and then they don't want it
Mhm.
to be
Yeah.
actually, hard
Brought
truth,
to light.
into them. So
exactly.
I think that's what
Mhm.
maybe a fear is, and like
Great
Danielle
point.
was saying earlier, it's like we
Mhm.
don't do this
Right.
profession to necessarily get rich.
Right.
It's we
Yeah. To help
enjoy
out.
it. We enjoy
Mhm.
helping people and
Mhm.
satisfying, fulfilling. But
I love that.
Yeah, and putting them on the path.
Putting them on the
Right.
I mean,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll give directions. It's
Fantastic.
okay.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love that.
Right.
I love it. So kind of piggybacking on that, how do you support clients throughout the entire mortgage process from pre-approval to closing? Because, there is a lot of steps that happen in between.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
One again falls back on
Mhm.
experience. I've
Yep.
been doing this for a very long time.
Mhm.
So I tend to be very thorough upfront,
Right.
just so that we can get all of that out of
I
the
love
way,
Mhm.
so that when they find the right house, that's what they get to focus on.
Great.
But we also have just perfected our process and steps.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have an amazing, support staff.
Mhm.
We have other loan officers. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of extra hands
Yeah.
if we need them.
Great.
But we really did during COVID with 2%
Right.
interest rates. We got
Right.
a crash course in figuring out how
Systems.
to handle large
Yeah.
amounts of
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And, at that point, we had anywhere from 100 to 115,
Wow.
20 clients at a time.
Wow.
So we got really good at systematizing
yeah,
things. So
for sure.
I have it down.
Yes. Yeah.
We will guide them every step
Yep.
of the way. There's it's all automated so that they
Amazing.
don't have to guess on what
Yeah.
comes next, right?
I
Like
love that.
that's the worst is when a client is trying to
Mhm.
figure out what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
It's like, no, don't worry about it. I got you.
Yep.
I will tell you when you need to do
Exactly.
something. Nothing
Exactly.
slips through the cracks.
I always feel like that's always my goal is to let them know before they even think of it. Like if they're asking me that, no, I'm not doing my job. And I feel like you guys
Right.
are very much
Yeah.
on top of it
Yeah.
from working with you in the past. I know another agent uses you, I think, exclusively in our
Yeah.
office, and you guys are very communicative and letting us know as the agents, and also the clients letting us know where everybody is at in the
Yeah.
process and what's still needed and what we've already got knocked out. And
All back to expectations.
Exactly.
Right? Like as long as nobody's
Exactly.
wondering what's going on. I think only once we've had a
Mhm.
complaint that we
Right.
communicated too much. And we're like, well, I'm sorry, you're just not our people. Move on. It's all
Well,
good.
I very
Yeah.
much appreciate the communication.
Yes,
That's how I roll.
communication
So.
is key. And transparency,
Yes,
right? I also
yeah.
find that a lot of, especially when you're talking about these bigger lenders,
Mhm.
they don't really fully explain things to clients.
Yeah,
And
or
so
options.
they get in and they
Mhm.
don't, if you're using your VA benefit,
Mhm.
they don't maybe even realize that they have closing costs to
Right.
pay unless it's structured
Right.
without that. And I don't
Oh,
want surprises.
gosh,
Like
yeah.
everything is very transparent.
Yeah.
We have a full illustration. We break down every penny.
Yep.
I want them by the time they get to the closing table, like they know
Right.
exactly what to expect.
I love it. Yeah. It's just
That's perfect.
transparency is everything for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's something hard to find nowadays too, is to be able to just
Yeah.
speak with
I know.
a
Yeah.
person, let alone the person. You
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if you're in Sonoma County, Danielle's local, you're local,
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
So no, my
Yeah.
Marin.
Yep. There we go.
Right.
And Marin County as well. Yeah.
Okay,
You're a lot in
perfect,
Marin
yeah.
County as well.
Yeah,
right?
I mean we live in Marin.
Yes,
Our
yes.
office is about to move to Petaluma.
Oh,
so.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that. That's
brand new.
exciting.
Signed lease yesterday. So
Wow.
June 1 will
Oh my
be
gosh.
over,
Can you share more or not yet on the
No,
podcast?
it's fine. Yeah,
Oh, tell us all
we're
about it.
moving to North McDowell Boulevard.
Cool.
So kind of behind Applebee's. And
Awesome. I totally know that
so we have a new
area.
space. And
That's great.
Yeah, gonna
Wow, that's
Make-
exciting.
make a little transition.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Awesome. Well, are there any specific eligibility criteria or qualifications that first responders should be aware of when they're applying for a mortgage?
Nothing specific outside of the regular underwriting criteria, right?
Great.
So what I have found is that when clients try to overanalyze what they are qualified for,
I see.
they might be missing something.
Yep.
Underwriting guidelines,
Mhm.
truthfully, are hundreds and hundreds of pages per program.
Wow.
Like it's crazy.
Right.
And so if you try to do internet research and things like that,
Mhm.
that's helpful.
Right.
There's a lot of information out there and that's great,
Mhm.
but you can often get wrong information or old information that
Right.
has been changed.
Mhm.
So, just make sure that you're checking
With you.
me, a professional, anyone qualified, I suppose, but ideally
yeah,
me.
but ideally Danielle.
And, don't try
Yeah.
to overanalyze
Mhm.
all of those things yourself.
Great.
Like, let us guide you.
That's super helpful. Yeah. So they don't get lost in the weeds
Yeah.
of all of that. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
I mean, there is
Yeah.
a tremendous amount of opportunity on programs. We have, credit score options.
Great.
Super low on VA, but yeah, don't believe everything that you read online. It's not always accurate.
Fantastic. We also give that advice at home to our kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Especially for the teenagers.
It's
Yeah.
like, okay, that's not a
Yeah.
reliable source.
Yeah. And how do you know it's not
Totally,
a reliable source,
totally.
right? Or the problem
Yeah.
with websites is they don't get updated all the time. And
Right.
guidelines change all the time.
Constantly.
Or anybody
Mhm.
can just write them.
Yeah,
You know,
that's very
it's
true too.
crazy.
Very true.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Very true. So, looking ahead, what are your goals or plans for First Responders Mortgage in terms of growth and serving the community? I know you're just getting
Yeah,
started.
we literally are just getting started.
Yeah.
Launched just a couple of weeks ago.
So awesome.
So it's brand new. Obviously, our goal is to help more first responders with their mortgage.
Yep.
So just a grassroots push to make that
Fantastic.
happen.
Mhm.
But also expanding on business development relationships like we have with
Great.
Jeff, and
Great.
getting people who are in these communities opportunities to work in the mortgage
I
industry.
love that.
Opportunities to share what we have to offer.
Mhm.
So I don't know exactly how it's going to fold out yet.
That's fantastic.
But,
Yeah.
sticking kind of in our local communities, so Marin, Sonoma, Solano counties
Great.
for now. Hopefully down in San Diego as well, if I can get my
Great.
son on the
That would be
ground.
Right.
awesome.
He's a little busy, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well,
But as he settles into
Yeah.
his role, I'm
Yeah.
hoping that he'll be able to,
That's
be another
amazing.
you on the ground down there.
That would
Right,
be awesome.
yeah.
That would be awesome.
Just
No,
And
no.
you can
Yeah.
do any loan in California, even if you were working from these areas. You can help
Yep,
and
and
serve
can
anyone in
help anywhere in
California.
California.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So kind of coming off of business a little bit, what are 3 fun facts about each of you? I love this question, and everyone that I ask hates it.
Yeah,
So.
he does. Yeah.
Should we start with you?
Yeah, like I was gonna say, this is whenever I listen to your podcast, this is the one like,
The
oh
awkward
god,
moment.
yeah, I don't
Here she
know, I don't, you
comes.
know.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I found that difficult too. Just like I like to play ping pong.
Yeah.
We're fairly good. My son's starting to come up there though, and starting to be able to
beat you
beat
the
me.
other night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what he told me is he beat you the other day.
Yeah, well, he's legit beating me now. You know? Yeah, I hope you're not listening.
Yeah.
He knows. He knows.
He knows.
I think over in Syria, I was gonna participate in a half marathon against the Special Forces guys,
So
but
cool.
yeah, I got canceled. We actually got attacked that night,
Yeah.
so we're up
That
all
changed
night.
things.
Yeah,
Wow.
so they
Priorities.
canceled it, and
Yeah.
I wasn't able to do it. But I was running a lot, and actually fine. The third one, running fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
peaceful.
That's where we differ.
Good
I don't
there.
find it.
Yeah.
I know.
I'll say
Right.
later.
My
I'm
husband
gonna
runs
walk
as
in.
well, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there are choices on this, right?
Totally.
Right,
He'll
yeah.
go when it's
Yeah.
so hot out. Like I'm like, there's just no way I would.
I
do it.
prefer it.
Yeah.
You prefer
hot.
it hot, yeah.
Yeah.
He likes to
Oh.
put himself through.
I mean, it was
that.
great
Yeah.
over in the Middle East. 'Cause,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
100 degrees.
No.
In the
90s.
morning, right? Yeah.
All
Yeah.
night, yeah.
All night.
Yeah,
That is
maybe
crazy.
90s.
I guess
so.
you have to convince yourself you love it. Then.
Yeah, right,
Probably
yeah.
is a good mindset.
For sure.
mindset game.
I have like 5,000 fun facts running through my head about you because I think you're really fun, just for the record.
Aw.
But also, I was thinking too, you have like a creative side with steelworking too. I think that's kind of cool to like share with
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah, that's
You're very talented.
one thing I actually thought about before. Actually, you helped me with that one too. But
Yeah, yeah.
I like to fabricate
Yeah.
anything out of steel.
That's awesome.
I find it fun and
Yeah.
enjoyable, and I
Yeah.
do some
You're
side work.
talented.
So yeah, if
Yeah,
you need
cool.
anything, yeah.
Yeah.
let me know.
Thinking of
Yeah.
more things too, but I'll just
Right.
move on to
Yeah,
that. I think you're
actually
really
just
fun.
got a new little welder from
That's true.
Yeah, my
Yesterday.
birthday
That's right.
present.
His
Yeah.
birthday's on Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna be at the lake.
Yeah,
And...
and I'm turning 42. It's your 42nd.
It's getting
podcast.
old. It's getting up there. Oh my gosh! Yeah,
Yeah.
you're my 42nd podcast, and you're turning 40.
Aw.
I actually planned it. Let's just go with that. I planned that.
Totally
Yeah,
intentional.
right,
It's
yeah.
totally on purpose.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you,
Exciting.
Danielle?
All right. So I am a massive Tony Robbins junkie.
Awesome.
It is something I totally love. So
Yeah.
I have walked fire coals 5
Whoa!
times.
No way.
Wait, I think I
What?
knew
Yes,
this.
5
Where did I
times
know
over the
this?
last
Yeah.
since 2019.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Oh
I've
my
now done it so
gosh.
many
More than
times that when
once,
I
huh?
walk
That's
fire coals,
crazy.
it's boring.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds-
Really?
It's in the
Really?
greatest mindset shift. I'm like, wasn't really that hot
Wow.
today. They're like 1,200 degrees, so it's definitely
So
hot.
they're definitely hot.
It's
Yeah.
definitely hot. But so that's one
amazing.
fun thing that we do.
So cool.
I have 5 kids. We've
Yep.
recently kind of
Yeah.
taken in a bonus
Yes.
child, so we have 5 kids. And I'm
Amazing.
going to be a grandma this year.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
congratulations.
It's so crazy.
That is so
crazy.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
such a
so-
cool phase of life.
It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's messing
Yeah.
with me a little bit. The
Yeah.
identity
Well, for
crisis
sure.
is
Yeah.
like, whoa,
I can't- yeah.
wait, slow down.
Wait, that means I'm
Yeah. I'm like, pretty sure I'm 20.
for sure.
But, that's not how it works. But my Marine,
Yeah.
got married last
Exactly.
December.
Yeah.
And they're,
That's so exciting.
yeah, I know. So September I get to be a grandma, baby boy.
You're gonna
so.
have to fly down there.
Oh, yeah.
Spend some
Definitely.
time.
I know. Unfortunately, my son is being deployed in May, so
Yeah.
he will be gone.
So
I guess he gets
Does he get to come home for
like 10
Yeah,
days. He gets
yeah,
to come home.
yeah.
I don't know how they time that.
Yeah, so
because
there's-
he's going to be
that's tricky.
pretty
They'll
far
send a
away.
Red
But
Cross message out, and then he can come
yeah, I'm
home.
hoping
But
she
Oh.
can
10 days.
schedule
Yeah.
things. So he'll be home for a
Right.
minute, and then
Oh yeah, maybe she'll be able to schedule
She-
it.
yeah.
I'm hoping.
Mhm.
I know that,
Yeah.
they
Gosh. Well, she's
obviously
gonna need
can't.
some help.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
From grandma.
I'm
Do you have a
hoping that
grandma
it-
name?
So I'm going to go Grandma Dee Dee.
Cute.
Yeah.
It's very
I would
cute.
probably eliminate the grandma.
I was gonna
name
say
in there,
start
just
Yeah.
go with
Dee
Dee
Dee.
Dee.
That's
My
cute.
son's pretty insistent on putting grandma in there just to
Okay.
kind of mess with
Okay.
me. So
Well, if
I'll
you
say,
like,
Dee Dee, Dee Dee,
hopefully he
Dee Dee.
doesn't listen, but
Yeah.
like if you really put that in the baby's ear from
Exactly.
I'm Dee
Yeah, I'm
Dee,
very
Dee Dee, not
influential.
grandma. Yeah, there we go.
So,
Then
yeah,
you can
we'll
kinda-
see how it goes. I'm working on like knitting my first
Yeah.
baby blanket. It's like gonna be camo
That
and
is
stuff.
awesome.
It's gonna be cool.
Oh, it's
Oh,
so
nice.
cute.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
That's
It'll be fun.
awesome.
So, yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on. Where can people find you?
First responders, mtg.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
both.
you.
It was so fun to have you guys in here today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for all you're doing too. It's
Absolutely.
really
Thank you for
it's
sharing.
So beneficial. I'm happy
that's
to.
What we need, really.
Happy
is
to.
people
Awesome.
to talk.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening.
If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe, learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.